One of the monks, he tried so hard to meditate and to attain enlightenment, and he tried, and he was just at the verge. He arrived, and then he couldn't achieve enlightenment, and he was so upset. And then after a few days or weeks later, he went back again, and he put all the effort, full effort to be enlightened again. So he dedicated himself practicing, gradually improve. And at the end, again, he was failed. He couldn't achieve that highest level. And the scripture says that at the 6 times, he became fed up. He thought that he is not going to attain enlightenment at all. So he was so much attached to the enlightenment, and then he practiced so much and dedicated so much, then he cannot let go of that, of this attainment. And after 6 times, he became so fed up, and he said, me being a monk and being a human is useless. Alright? I shouldn't be alive now, and I should commit suicide. And he took the knife. He took a knife to suicide himself. And the scripture said there is a Mara coming, and Mara knows his mental state. Mara knows that the very moment when he is cutting, because of his concentration on that, he will gradually let go, and then he will be enlightened before he dies. So Mara will come, try to not let him do the suicide, in a way, committing a suicide. And then the Mara thought, if I go and tell this monk that you shouldn't commit suicide, he will not listen to me. I better go and speak with the Buddha. So he went to speak with the Buddha, and then paid respect to the Buddha, sat down, and then said to the Buddha that this Venerable Gotika is going to commit suicide, which is against the first precepts, what you said. That is harming own person, individual, which is not right. So, Venerable Lord, you have to go and tell him, do not commit suicide. And the very moment when he said, Buddha just sat down and realized he had committed. Monk had committed suicide, but before his consciousness goes off, he attained enlightenment. So the Buddha said to this Mara, you came little late. He has attained arhatship. So he became enlightened after he committed suicide. So it is not easy. Sometimes we grasp so much in our practice, and then as a result, we want to achieve something. We want to have something, like a Raf was trying. I have no time, I have only this time, I have to do practice, and I have to get something. And as a result, he cannot get anything, he said. He cannot meditate. So that's simply, in the practice, nothing to do, nothing to worry. Just be there.
So the question is, do you want a knife now? Only if I have a
So
second.
that's why if you remember tonight, I in my instruction or guiding, I said A, acknowledgement, B, just being, and C, being compassionate. Compassionate to ourselves when we are practicing. and diligently practicing. So ABCD, basically. So need to acknowledge that what we are doing here and now, while we are doing. Anything that is happening now, we're just acknowledging it as it is happening. And then when it is happening, and then our mind just goes off, then we have to be there at that very moment that my mind has gone. And thus being there with the mind that is gone. And then we need to be compassionate, caring and compassionate to ourselves and basically to our mind. And then, okay, I know, come back. Gently, okay, I know, come back. This is your time to come back where I want you to be. And then like this, diligently but patiently, whenever it goes, comes back, goes, comes back, goes, comes back. Through that, our mind becomes so concentrated that there is a possibility that we will not hear any sounds. There is a possibility we will not hear any sounds. So that is the first stage that we have crossed. And then when we do not hear a sound, in that moment our mind becomes so concentrated with one object. We are with that object for a long time. And then that moment we have this complete silent inside and outside. Because we do not hear sound from outside because it's already disconnected. Our senses are, our ear consciousness is already closed. And then inner chatting that normally happens through the thoughts coming out, that also stopped because our mind concentrated in only one object now. Basically, whenever we hear that sound of the fire or anything, that means that moment we have given up an object that we were paying attention to. So it has just distracted, our mind is gone. But there is a moment that we will not hear anything because this ear consciousness has switched off and we just inside. And even inside, even the thought is not generated, it's closed. Because it's like a magnet, our mind is with the object only, nothing else there. So that is the complete silence, inside and outside. And that silence is so beautiful, sound of silence. And that you will hear there is a frequencies, and that still we have to go beyond it. And that's the state of silentness. And this we will see it, we will achieve it. It's not unachievable. We can achieve it. We can, okay? But in that moment, there arises such a wonderful joy, such a lifting and lightness, and comfortable, and you want to be, just being with that. And when you are with that, what happens is there is another moment comes, and that moment we have given up this object of concentration, and there is no breath at all, and then there is no connection with the body at all. It's like a body has completely given up, but there is only mind and the sensation of such a happiness. So that happiness we will experience it, and then the very moment when we achieve this happiness, and we want to be in that happiness. And that's why if you hear many people talk about the meditation, and they just want to be meditating in that. So that is the state of the mind they have achieved. And in that moment, they do not need anything. They just want to be in there, in that position, because it's just such a blissful moment, and you are in there. And even that, again, once we have understood this, and it just gradually fades away, and then it generates this just a single-minded, and then the equanimity. You will be able to okay as it is. So just being a one at the moment. And at that moment we have to again we have to be able to perceive it, perceiving at that moment as that. And but again, this is down to the practice. But again, this practice will not help us to realize things as they truly are. We cannot apply it in our day-to-day life at all. It happens only when we meditate. Only when we are, like sitting like this, and it happens like that at that very moment only. But in our day-to-day life, to see it, we have to use the meditation on the move. So awareness, being aware of things at all the time. Not let the mind take over. Do not let it take over on us. We're constantly aware of it, what we are going to do, what we are going to say, and the consequences of what we are saying. And that is important. And that is the thing that we will be able to develop. You can observe as well. You can observe in your day-to-day life as well. When you want to say something, rather than saying, noticing the desire to say. And sometimes you want to do something, rather than doing it, stopping first. And then watching what happens. There is awareness of, should I say or should I stop? It's in our hand that we are controlling the things, the desire that we want to say. That's why in those moments, if we are aware, then we know, and then okay, that's it, like that. So we can do.
Yeah, just
And
stop.
I was just thinking about what Lynn said about the sky and then cloud. One of the books, the whole section talks about the emptiness. And this emptiness concept, the simile given is, you look at the sky is perfectly there. What goes by is the cloud. And then the birds just goes. And it won't stay there long. So when you say there is nothing, there is something. So that's the clouds and then the birds. But it won't last long. So it just goes off. And what remains is the sky. So that's the sky, and that's the empty. So in a way, there is an emptiness, but not empty. And there is not empty, but because there is empty. And also, I was just reflecting on what you said, that because of something that pushes us to learn the way out, that's the reason why Buddha didn't taught Eightfold Noble Path at the first place. He said about the suffering first. Let us know that this is suffering first. Acknowledge it, know it. This is suffering. And it has a cause of a suffering. Yeah. Unless we have it.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why in the Four Noble Truths, Buddha taught the suffering first. And which as a result, again, many people think that the Buddhism is pessimistic, talks about the suffering all the time. But in fact, it's just telling us this is the suffering. This is happening with us, and these are happening, and there is a way out. And the way out, we have to work on it. And so that's the Eightfold Noble Path. That's the number 4, like that. If we do not suffer, then we will not turn to the doctor. That's the same analogy. And when we read the life of the disciples during the time of the Buddha, over 90% suffered first. Went through different stages of problems in their life, and then become the disciple of the Buddha, and went on practicing and become enlightened. Main important thing here is the benefit that we get, whether our practice is giving us a benefit or not, providing us comfort or not, and then providing skills to deal in different situations in our day-to-day life or not. If these are working, then yes, that's enough. So that's the most important part, I would say, rather than saying that I am, going to be enlightened, which is pretty tough. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight. Okay, just one more announcement. December 25th, Christmas Day, we are, along with the Bantai restaurant, giving food to the homeless people. So 100 people. And Instant Neighbor is producing this ticket. Okay. Okay, so bring your attention to the room and to your body, reflecting a few moments on tonight's discussion. A story of a Gotaka who was trying to meditate to attain enlightenment, unable to do. Any stages of the condition, our mind, up to the attainment of a complete blissful moment. Our being is sky, free from the clouds, above the sky, above the clouds. And bring your attention to your body, connecting with your body and to your hands. Observing any sensation in your hands, and gradually up to your heart, connecting with your heart, generating loving kindness and compassion to yourself. You may physically smile and feel the connection with your heart, and generating loving kindness and compassion to yourself. May I be happy. May I be peace. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from troubles of body and mind. May I be able to maintain my happiness. Similarly, sharing a loving kindness and compassion to all of the sentient beings, starting from the idea one. Whatever beings there are, visible, invisible, in this room, in this city, in this country, on earth, in the universe. Whatever beings there are, may they be happy. May there be peace. May they be free from suffering. May they be free from troubles of body and mind. May they be able to maintain their happiness. Bring your attention to your hands. And to your body. And to your eyes. And come out from meditation and reflect a few moments.